Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Oh, hello everybody! Welcome to the world-famous Grammy Award-winning Top 10 list right here in the FUgameCrue. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 Wii U games of all time.
But Cameron, the Wii U is still relevant. I mean, Breath of the Wild's coming. Zelda.
No, I didn't forget, but don't you remember a few months ago, Nintendo gave us the first access to Breath of the Wild on Wii U and the Switch? The Switch version was absolutely breathtaking and looked 100% real. It looked like some cute hunk was dressed as Link instead of something that was computer generated. The Wii U version was a little watered down though, and clearly the inferior version. That's why you're not going to see it on this list today.
Okay, well, since you took it upon yourself to make a top 10 list, let's see what you got.
The Wii U is officially Nintendo's least successful console of all time, unless you count the Virtual Boy, of course, but that coexisted with the Game Boy and Super Nintendo as just kind of like a third wheel, or whatever the hell it was. So it's hard to compare that system's failure with the Wii U, since Nintendo fully dove in this time around and didn't give up after 6 months. But we're not going to talk about why nobody bought this console, since that's something Nintendo needs to worry about. All I care about is how much fun I can have. And honestly, with the Wii U, I had a gay old time. Heck, I'll go one step further and say that I don't even think it's Nintendo's worst home console, all things considered.
What the fuck did you say?
What do you want me to lie? I had fun with it. And here's the top 10 reasons why. Or the top 10 games for the console, but I like how I said it first better. Number 10. Paper Mario Color Splash. Let's kick this list off with a little controversy in the form of a Paper Mario game that fans of the series flat out rejected because it didn't resemble the Thousand Year Door more closely. But if you don't suffer from tiny hand syndrome and can forget about that, then Color Splash is actually pretty fun. I'm not saying it's better than the GameCube prequel, but it does have hilarious dialogue, charming graphics, simple and fun but polarizing gameplay, interesting puzzles.
My grandmother, riding by on a bicycle, gave me the finger and a duck.
Like half of this list, there's a full review of it on our channel. Just check the link in the description since the end slate system's fucked now. Number 9. Super Mario 3D World. Now this is the kind of Mario game I expected and wanted back when the Nintendo 64 came out. The biggest strength behind Mario's drawing power on the NES and Super Nintendo is that it's supposed to be easy to pick up and play but hard to master as the game progresses. That concept convinced millions of people that video games are fun. But when Super Mario 64 came out, it really just confused me having to do challenges instead of just walking to the goal. But don't get me wrong, that's not the kind of game I wanted or expected in 2016, which is why this isn't higher on the list. Now that I'm a little bit older, I would have loved to have had something more along the lines of Super Mario Galaxy or even Sunshine. But even though this isn't exactly what I wanted, the levels are neat, the music is superb, and it's a lot of fun to play with your friends. So what's not to like? Come to think about it, I'm surprised people didn't complain about this as much as they did Color Splash, since both games are different from previous entries in the series. Number 8. Yoshi's Woolly World. A lot of people just dismissed this game as an average platformer, but that's because they were playing it wrong. You're supposed to 100% it, dummies. And other than the super cool graphical style that we've also seen in Kirby's Epic Yarn, the game operates under Banjo-Tooie rules, so you don't have to collect everything all in one playthrough, just 100% every level. But if you just feel like playing through the game without collecting everything, it's still pretty fun, and that's fine, but don't complain that it was too easy if that's how you want to do it. So in that sense, the game does have a difficulty setting, but what it is up to you instead of being in the options menu. People talk about how good the original Yoshi's Island game is all the time, and since this one is prettier, bigger, and better, how could I not include it on this countdown? Number 7. Splatoon. Nintendo's attempt at creating a multiplayer-focused shooter. While I do wish the single-player campaign had more going for it instead of feeling lazy and slapped on, the co-op is easy for anybody to get into and a breath of fresh air in a world flooded with shooters.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
This would have been higher on the list if there were more customization options and had we at least been given an option to have voice chat amongst our friends. But despite all that, I still had a lot of fun and put a decent amount of time into playing it before all the newer modes and content came out. Plus the soundtrack's cool and the plaza reminds me of being in Japan. Number 6. Super Smash Bros. Wii U. This is a personal list, so even though everybody loves this game, I'm just not as into it as the rest of you are. Before you say it's probably because you suck at it, I'll just have you know that you're completely correct. I'm not the worst ever, but I was never really the kind of person to play one game for a really long time. I like to move on and play as many games as possible. Despite sucking at it, I'm always down to play, and the fact that a game exists where you can have Mario, Pikachu, Pac-Man, Cloud, Link, Mega Man, Sonic, and Wii Fit Trainer all whoop each other's dinguses is pretty cool. If only the Mario Kart series would get this kind of treatment. More on that later. Number 5. Pikmin 3. I can understand why this game wouldn't be a system seller and dig the Wii U out of the trenches, but if you're up for getting into a new kind of adventure, then boy oh boy, is there a poop load of fun to be had with Pikmin 3. In my opinion, Pikmin 3 utilizes the gamepad better than anything else on the console. For those of you who may not know, in the Pikmin series you play as an explorer or explorers who travel to distant planets in search of different things, and to accomplish this you need to command armies of these little guys called, you guessed it, Pikmin. It's just a heck of a mess of fun to explore this beautiful world while solving all of its puzzles to get food to your home planet Kopai. And the best part is that finishing the main game doesn't take too long, but there's tons of bonus content to keep you busy if you're not ready to move on to another game yet. Sadly, I did move on to something else after finishing the main game, but that's because there was a ton of other things I was trying to play at the time. Frig off! Number 4. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. This is easily my favorite Donkey Kong Country game of all time, even though I do consider it to be a different series than the games on the Super Nintendo. It's just got everything you could want, really. Challenging gameplay, the return of Dixie Kong, as well as Cranky Kong finally being a playable character, and Diddy's still there with a similar ability to Dixie, but for some reason the lack of imagination just doesn't bother me all that much since they're different enough. There's plenty of variety in gameplay with the minecart stages similar to the ones on the Super Nintendo, and the rocket barrel stages that are kinda like that minigame I used to play in high school, Copter. And honestly, I prefer the version in this game better since Mr. Lugo doesn't shove his thumb up my ass in front of the entire class as a punishment for playing it. Being number 2 on my favorite 2D platformers of all time should really say it all. In fact, I could have copy-pasted the entry from that list into here, so you'd better show me a little respect for recording a new voiceover, you schmucks. Number 3. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Shit! I've never played a Shin Megami Tensai game in my life. I've played Fire Emblem games, but this crossover has very little to do with that series other than characters, weapons, and sound effects. But this game is just too badass and stylish to be anything other than amazing. The Japanese language not being dubbed into English might be seen as lazy, but the Wii U didn't sell very well, so it was either this or not getting the game at all. I like shorter games, but oddly enough, I also like RPGs, and this is one of my favorites that I've ever played. And besides, I'd rather not understand the dialogue at all than to get English voiceovers that sound terrible. It's for that very reason that I had to give up on Final Fantasy X back in the day, and I was actually excited to play that. While some people might get mad at me for not including Xenoblade Chronicles, let me say that I just prefer turn-based battles in RPGs. Xenoblade just seems complicated to learn. I'm sure if I just took the time to learn it, it'd be amazing, but I gave the last story a chance, even seeing it through to the end. But I just can't get into that type of battle system. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, on the other hand, was so nice that it made me want to pee in my own eyes. So I did, and the rest is history. Number 2. Mario Kart 8. Yet another franchise in which my favorite game appears on the Wii U, especially after downloading the DLC. Geez, you all probably hate me for thinking the best Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Smash, and Mario Kart are on Nintendo's least popular console. But anyway, right now we're talking about Mario Kart, and simply put, the controls and drifting feel superior to every other version, the blue shells are actually rare, the courses are silly and fun, what with everything being upside down and all, the online mode works well with hardly any lag, and the DLC I mentioned lets you play stages inspired by Excitebike, F-Zero, and friggin' Zelda. Like I said earlier, I hope this is where the future of the series is headed instead of being limited to just a Mario theme. Also, you know, voice chat and making balloon battles awesome again. Man, they really botched the balloon battles here, didn't they? Anyway, before we get to number 1, let's quickly go through some honorable mentions. Zombie U. I actually like this game, despite the fact that they should have worked on it for a few more months instead of rushing it to launch. Wonderful 101. I liked everything about this game besides the gameplay. It's too repetitive, and enemies have way too much health, making fights feel forever. Shovel Knight. I mean, it's on every other console, come on. Bayonetta 2. Okay, so I didn't play the first game in the series, and then when this came out, I tried to play the first one, and then I felt like I was missing out on all the hype, so I eventually just said fuck it. New Super Luigi U. I like quick and short games, and all the levels are completely new and not just copy and pasted from New Super Mario Bros. U like everybody thinks. The world map is copy and pasted, but who cares?
Who cares? I don't care.
Nintendo Land. I'd have included it on this list if you could play online with friends, since it's actually pretty fun, but nobody wants to come over my stinky-ass manor. Sonic Lost World. I kinda liked it. And now, number 1. Super Mario Maker. What else could have been number 1? The best 2D platforming franchise of all time lets you create your own stages in the style of any game in the series. That's right. It's literally 4 never-ending Mario games, even though the physics are slightly different than their originals. Even though I have no desire to create levels myself, you can download an endless amount of stages created by fans and Nintendo alike. I mean, what else could you ask for? Hookers? Yeah, that's actually illegal in most states, and I'll report you if I catch you with one, you piece of shit.
So there you have it, everybody. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. And if you don't agree with what I had to say and plan on finding out where I live and coming to ravish my supple young body, then bring it on! Do your worst! I'm not afraid of you, Internet!